the right person.
You know who has good game? Leo Flowers. Shout out to Leo Flowers. You know who Leo Flowers is?
No.
Oh, he's a comedian. Like I've gone like overseas to perform with him for the troops. Like we did like Guantanamo Bay and all these other cool places. This guy, he will just like, if he sees someone he wants to hit on, he'll hit on him. And he just tells me all these stories. I remember he was like, one time he walked to a table of girls. He doesn't know who they are. He just walks up and he asked this girl for her number. And she goes, I'm kind of seeing somebody. He goes, oh, is that how you want to go through life? Just kind of doing shit. And all her friends were like, ah! And then he's like, I got the number. And he's like, and then we dated.
Run if you don't swing the bat.
Then he dated another girl. He said he saw this girl from like a reality show, like an MTV reality show, in the laundromat. And he goes, oh, dang. He's like, how can I get her? And he remembered that she went to the same college as his ex-girlfriend. So he went up to her and he's like, hey, I recognize you. And she thinks he's going to say MTV. He goes, yeah, you were in a picture with my ex-girlfriend, a college photo. And she's like, what? Like, he could see that she was like not into it. He goes, yeah. He goes, I had to break up with her because she had really hairy legs. And then she started laughing. And then he started dating her. And I was like, this guy's great.
I'm not surprised. Because
he's also like buff and like a good-looking guy.
Yeah, but
so
I think
the
key in Los Angeles, but I think anywhere, is don't say what they've heard 1,000 times. So with the internet, with online dating, it's always, hey, what are you doing? Or some stupid thing. Yeah. But if you can talk to somebody about something that's like
hairy legs.
Yeah, it's so stupid, but
he was
absolutely.
telling me this. We're in Cuba, and we're watching Game of Thrones on my phone because we're like, oh, it's the season now or whatever. And he's like, I'm just holding the phone like this. He goes, tell me if your hand gets tired. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And he could see my hand, like, after like 10 minutes, like my arm's shaking. He's like, you want me to hold it? I'm like, no, I got it. And he's like, just give me the damn phone because like he couldn't watch it. And this girl comes down and like she's like, hey, oh, you guys watching Game of Thrones? We're like, yeah, we wanted to go get something to eat, but they shut down the little grocery store. And she's like, oh, well, I got some stuffed jalapenos upstairs. She goes, if you guys want, I'll make you some stuffed jalapenos. And we're like, that would be great. And then she walks away and I look at Leo and he's like, you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm like, she tried to hit on you? And he goes, I think so. And I'm like, you want me to get out of here? He goes, yeah, that's probably the best. And so the next day I'm at brunch and he comes down and I see him and I'm like, what's up, man? I'm like, how did everything go? He goes, so she came down. She brought me up for the jalapenos. We closed the door. He goes, I went for the kiss. She goes, what the hell are you doing? And he goes, this is what you brought me up here for, right? And she goes, no, it's jalapenos I made you. And she points, and there's like steaming jalapenos. And I was like, so what did you do? He goes, I sat down and I ate those damn jalapenos. And I left.
The second you think you understand what women want and what they're trying to vibe with you, you don't know. Because for every,
I thought she was hitting on him too, to be fair.
For every story where you think someone's being hit on and you're like, stuffed jalapenos, that's the code word. For every story like that, there's another time where you literally don't think you're about to get laid, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you were into me? This was a thing?
Well, she invited him up to have the jalapenos. She could have brought the jalapenos down. And so that's what made him think, oh, she's like into me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Obviously I'm like, she's not into me.
You missed out on jalapenos.
I know.
Because he misread the room.
Oh, damn you, Leo.
What if she was trying to fuck you?
No, definitely not. Like, if you put us next to each other, you're going to be like, let me get that guy. That guy looks like he could defend me if I get attacked by a mugger.
But that's what's interesting is that we talked about this last episode, but I feel like female pickup lines are just it's like fishing, knowing you just have to cast a line and some fish is gonna, like, if you're a woman and you just have to say hi. But as a guy, you've got to have the lure with the little mirror that shines and the fake fish that's running. You gotta pull out all the stops just to get someone's attention. Because just like you said, that story about someone who's like kind of dating somebody, they call it like a shit test. And again, these are terms that have been around. But like women sometimes will be like, I'm not into you. And then it turns out they are. So like when you talk about consent, you always want consent, but sometimes when you hit on somebody, you need to know deep down, are we going to step 2 of this? And sometimes that's, you.
Yeah, but a girl doesn't always know when a stranger approaches her whether or not this guy's like a good idea.
What's that thing they say though about women?
So there's a little bit of like tentativeness, It's like a little bit of a dance. Like, I don't know.
Don't they say women know in the first 13 seconds if they want to sleep with a guy or not?
Yeah, I think that's true.
Is that true? I don't know.
Coming from the 2 non-women sitting here?
Listen, we're doing jalapeno poppers tonight.
Credible website article.
There's a blog. I pulled it up on my Toshiba.
There's a blog written by a man.
Look, I've heard this. I've heard women know right away because you're doing the choosing, and then every woman has a sort of set amount of time that they'll give. That's kind of their like comfort zone before they'll have sex. And the average I've heard is 6 hours, which might be 2.5 dates. It might be 2 dates. It might be one long day. But if you spend 6 hours with somebody, that's on average the amount of time before you'll have sex. And people can be listening and just start doing the math. Well, we met for coffee. That was an hour. Then we did this. That was 3 hours. Third date, we fucked. There it is, 6 hours. Like, you never know. We knew each other for about 700 hours before we dated this prude over here. But that's a whole nother story here.
That's good, right? You build rapport,
Yeah,
I guess?
whatever you want to call it, sure. No, but yeah, Tasha, you're on point with saying that your defense system comes up, because sometimes you might have just gotten accosted by a homeless guy, and then all of a sudden your knight in shining armor is hitting on you, and you're like, "Fuck you!" And then you turn around and he's got nice blue eyes.
There's definitely an element of like being attracted to someone that's evident right away, but just because you're attracted to someone doesn't mean that you're gonna start talking to them and like definitely vibe or like feel like they're a nice guy instead of a douchebag. Like those things take a little time. So you might like get that initial attraction.
Yeah.
And know like, oh, I would be interested in maybe pursuing this. But sometimes someone approaches you and you're not necessarily like very like over the top attracted to them, but if they say the right things, seem like a nice guy, are polite, genuine, whatever, checks your boxes, then you might be willing to pursue that further.
But that sounds like a chump that you just described. Yeah, he was a nice guy. He checked all the boxes. That sounds like that sounds like you're going to be cheating on him in 2 weeks.
The kids call it a
No.
simp.
Yeah, that's the new term is a simp.
Yeah.
That's a new term. But you got jalapeno poppers over here. He hits a serve. She whips it back twice as hard, and then he just goes, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, why are you with that guy?" Boom, drops the
No,
mic.
That's
yeah,
not
no
the
filter in the
jalapeno.
brain. I
And
think
that's
that's
like
what it works for.
comic, ready to go, crowd work. Like, you're not going to tell me something I haven't heard already. And part of that's like, you got to meet a lot of people because you're going to be super nervous and blow. It's like going on auditions or interviews. You're going to blow it 20 times. The second you don't give a fuck, oh shit, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That means that he doesn't have much to lose. All right, he's cool.
Yeah, he's pretty like straightforward. I remember one time, one of our friends, I don't want to say his real name, so I'll just call this guy Theodore. So Theodore's talking to me and Leo, and he's like, "Yeah, guys," he goes, "I'm really having a hard time." He's like, "I found out I'm a sex addict, and I'm not proud to say this, but I've had sex with over 100 women." And then Leo goes, "Oh, I've easily cracked that number." I was like, "Oh my god!" This guy's like having a mental breakdown. You're like,
That's what I love about the camaraderie when you can like open up about something that you think is so dark or whatever, and then someone's like, "Yeah, I got that beat." It's like the second you're willing to talk about your issues, you realize like, yeah, we're all kind of weird. We've all got our thing.